We have another fantastic episode of Sports Talk lined up for today. Hello, I'm Tyler Sloan. Today we look back on the swimming and diving season in McKinney ISD. McKinney faced several challenges moving up to 5A this year. Their coach Sam Serio joins us to explain how they dealt with the new obstacles. Boyd's David Weintraub also in studio to comment on another outstanding season for his Broncos swim team. And finally, North's Brenda Files tells us about how her squad fared in district competition. It's all coming up in a few moments on Sports Talk. Year from McKinney High School, going from 4A to 5A in swimming and diving, but they were able to still have success at the 5A level. I'm joined by their head coach, Sam Serio, and Coach, thanks for joining us so much. And going into the 5A year, was it any different than competing in 4A?
Well, we were prepared because we knew it was going to be tougher because they're faster in 5A than they are in 4A, and plus we're in the toughest district in this area other than the South Lake Carroll, who won state in both girls and boys. But ours is the next fastest district, which is also the next fastest region.
And Sammy Hashberger, she has been phenomenal last year, and she is a junior this year, and she continued to break her own school records this year.
Yes, she reset the 2 IM earlier. She reset the 200 free at 5A Tisca, and she broke the 50 free at state this year.
State champion last year in the 4A classification. Going into this year's meet, expected to still win state in 5A. She came up a little short, 4th in the 200 and 3rd in the 100 free. What happened in those races? You know, she just missed, by a slim margin.
Well, she went in ranked 13th in 200 free, and she finished 5th in prelims and 4th, and so she went faster. And then in the 100 free, she was ranked 11th going in, and she finished 3rd both days. And she missed 2nd by .01 and less than a 2nd out of 1st, so she was right there.
And right there, stiff competition, indeed.
Yes.
And with a meet like that in a state meet, you have your prelims before the finals. Is there ever a strategy of trying to, conserve some energy for the finals, or is she at the point with the competition where you have to go all out for both swims?
She had to go pretty hard because she had to finish in the top 8 to get in the final heat, which scores more points if you're in the top 8. They score the top 16, but if you're 9th and go the fastest, you're still 9th. So you've got to do it Friday and then repeat, go faster Saturday.
And of course, she has Olympic aspirations, trying to qualify for the U.S. Olympic trials. She has a meet coming up this week at Texas A&M, you said.
Yes, she's going to swim the 50 free, the 100 free, the 200 free, probably the 500 free, the 200 IM, and the 100 back this weekend. And all those she's capable, and she'll face the same 2 girls in the 100, so she's going to get revenge.
That's certainly the goal indeed. And you had another swimmer go to state, and that was Jacob South. He's a diver, so different sort of event there.
Right.
What was his preparation like going into state being a freshman?
Well, I told him the Tuesday before the region meet that if he hit all his dives at region, he could go to state. And sure enough, it just so happened the only one that was close to him missed a dive at regions, and he hit his, so he got to go to state. He was seeded 16th, but he did the best meet of his life at state where you're supposed to, and he moved up to 14th as a freshman. He beat 2 of them out.
And that's pretty, impressive accomplishment for such a young kid going against mostly seniors in that diving competition.
Well, his goal was not to finish last and to break 300 points, and he got 307.45, so he achieved both his goals for the state meet.
It takes a lot of confidence, too, to dive, because it's not something that you can go into naturally and just be able to perform correctly. It's going to take a lot of repetition and practice, and he had to learn quickly here.
Yes, he just told his mother this past summer that he wanted to start diving out of the clear blue. So I take all the comers, but he's one that if he can see somebody do it, he's just about going to do it.
There's a lot of potential throughout
Right.
the next 3 years of high school. How far can he go?
Well, he got to see the best guy that I've seen at state in the 27 years I've been here in swimming. First guy to ever break 600 points in a dive meet, and probably in the nation. And he's a boy from South Lake Carroll, and he would dip the board, ride the board, then jump up to the ceiling and do tricks. So he saw what he's got to do, and he's determined to catch up with him.
Now, the rest of your team also had strong district and regional meets swims, and Matt Reynolds in the 100 fly was one of your best swimmers this year.
Yes, he came out of football, so he had 10 weeks off because he had to play, or 11 weeks, had to play football, and then he came in and did an excellent job. He missed by .01 into going to state for the second year in a row.
It's a difficult challenge in high school with so many kids play multiple sports, and especially a sport like swimming where you have to build an endurance, and it takes a lot of time in the water to build up that stamina. It's a harder sport than others to be able to play dual sports with.
Right, but Matt had swam in the summer leagues when he was younger. I had him when he was 7 or 8, so I knew him back then, and he stayed swimming in the summer so he could take those 10 weeks off in football and still come back in shape.
You also had a great relay team on the boys' side this year as well.
Yes, we had Stephen Prinsloo, Harrison Westcott, Matthew Reynolds, and Shason Bringhurst, and they swam in all 3 relays at district, and they missed going in the 400 to regions by .12, and they were in contention, but we just missed out on getting called up on the 2 relays.
Now, you mentioned to me earlier you have 16 seniors that are graduating that you won't have back for next year. What are you going to miss from all those leaving the program?
Oh, that's a lot of talent, a lot of talent. We'll have Sammy, Mackenzie Grider, and Jacob coming back to be we've got to build off them.
And definitely a little bit of a reloading year next year. Now, Mackenzie Grider, you mentioned, she's a sophomore. Competing in the 500 free, and she's another one that was just so close to advancing.
Yes, she just missed. She was 7th at region, but she's improving, and that's all. That's in this sport. That's all I'll ever ask. If they can improve, we're doing good.
Now, swimming is also one of those sports that takes a lot of time out of the day to be able. You have to have that time to get in the water. What's it like for a high school student on your team to have to worry about school and then try and be dedicated to swim practice?
Well, this year we were on the short end of the stick. We rotate every year. We had 5:30 a.m. practice. That cut out about 16 others that just didn't want to get up in the morning. So that hurt some. But next year we'll have the late afternoon practice, so that should help pick some of them up.
Help motivate some of the students to be able to go in the water.
Yeah, so we'll have last period on the schedule, and we can do dry land that period, and then they'll have an hour for tutoring, and then they'll get an hour and a half in the water. So it'll be better for most of them.
Well, Coach Serio, thanks again for joining us. Another incredible year for your team.
Thank you.
That's the McKinney Lions swim coach, Sam Serio, and again, a lot of seniors leaving the program, but 3 particular individuals going to help lead the team for next year's squad.